Anyways, let's start our runs. We're up to Primordium. As usual, continuing my Covenant 25 win streak with rotating champions, random allied clans. I named it the Herzal Streak Challenge, but I initially intended to stop after 10 wins, one with every champion, but I decided to just keep it going and see how long I can keep it alive. So let's go. Ooh, that's a lot of morsels. Well, we have Daedalus with constructed explosives, Fel with scorches, and Seraph with Zap. Our secondary clan is the traditional melting remnant with Drex. We also have Molded from their clan, and in our main clan we have Entumbra Assault and Grovel, which gives us a lot of morsel generation already. With Molded and Entumbra Assault, we could also think about killing off Primordium with an Entumbra Assault and immediately reforming them with Molded, so we would be able to transfer higher stats. So that might make me wanna go with aggressive edible, perhaps. But we'll see about that. Precious plating versus check strips. Check strips makes it harder to get off plinks early on, but that's probably not that important when we have access to Entumbra Assault and Grovel. It can also ruin Entumbra Assault sometimes though, but I think I'm not that worried about it, because in the later stages of the game we will have targets with more than 2 HP that will still die to an Entumbra Assault on the next floor. So yeah, check strip is it is. It's gonna be quite nice in terms of AoE. Well, aggressive edible is not an option. Not sure if superfood is what we want. The additional HP means we can't take that one out with Entumbra Assault, and it's also a bit more dangerous to reform, because if you reform it with Burnout 1, the Eater will die to the Burnout, unless they have Burnout themselves. So I think I'll start with Stalwart Snack here and probably try to find aggressive edible. Stalwart Snack is definitely not on my priority list, and I would usually have gone with Superfood here. But the specific base cards we have kinda push me in the direction of Stalwart Snack here. Let's see. Mark of Invasion, we have Jack Strips. Should not be an issue, but it can make placing our units on the first turn a bit harder. The only unit we have available for feeding here is a drag, which is obviously not ideal. This floor is capacity reduced, so I kinda wanna set up on the top instead. The advantage of setting up this floor means we will get full value out of our plinks, but maybe that's not even important. And the question is, what do we even want to feed? Do we feed a drag just so we can reform it later? I guess that's what we do. Primordium is actually quite inefficient in terms of power for size ratio. I want these guys to die. We can get the Apprentice of Light and his late triggers right now. That wouldn't be great. Love the Entumber Assault. Hi, Ori Freund. Oh, you managed to beat 15 expert challenges. Congrats. It's a nice frame. It's actually the one I'm currently playing with. Drag dies this turn. We do have another molded in the deck, however. Let's start working on these guys. Yeah, no matter what we do, we won't be able to deal 8 damage to this guy. Even if we reform the drag, so I think I just have to take the damage. 3 pile damage here, that's okay. This is fine, the train steward on the top. Won't quite be enough to get a kill, but it's close. I want this drag to fight on the bottom floor, where we have the highest amount of burnout turns available. Top floor is alright. Nothing we need to do there. Well, if we get to reform one more time, we have an easy win, otherwise it might get close. This is not a bad amount of damage. Yeah. Well, can get back our powerful drag, but even without them, we would have had it there. Nice. Gem Trove, Prismal Dust, Mine Collapse. With Jack Strips and 2 Entumber Assaults already in the deck, I don't want the Mine Collapse. Gem Trove is very expensive and gives us even more morsel generation, which we currently don't really need. Prismal Dust could be decent, but that depends heavily on what units we build. I think I'm gonna skip here. Another Molded, Entombed Explosive and Hallowed Drippings. Honestly, it's pretty reasonable to take another Molded in my opinion. There are a lot of good targets, but Entombed Explosive would also be quite decent right away. I'm gonna go with the third Molded. We might not go for holdover on it at all this run. I could see that happening for sure. I need a Gorge unit. We have such good morsel generation that I really want to look for a Gorge unit right now. Double stack. Is that worth it? It might be, but most likely not. We'll see. Oh yeah, I love me a Shadow Eater. It's a bit less necessary with Jack Strips, but it still has the defensive benefit of healing itself, keeping itself alive. And with Primordium and the amount of morsel generation we have, it will be pretty reliable at least. Hi Katira, welcome! Yeah, I'm happy to be back. Cost reductions. Molded is certainly a prime target, and Entumber Assault. I wanna get at least one of them cost reduced. Am I okay spending 2 energy on a Grovel? Not really, but Grovel is definitely gonna stay important. I think that's the main reason why I'm gonna go for a cost reduction on Grovel first. And I will skip the double stack Grovel because the damage shield is nice, but it's not worth the doubling the cost and paying 105 gold. Permafrost, that could be pretty decent on one of the moldeds, so we always have it available when we need it. Definitely want the extra damage on the Entumbra Assault, and now I have to decide between Ember and Freestone, and I think Emberstone still wins out. Is it the Entumbra Assault here? Merchant of Steel, Remnant Banner, Pyre remains Herzal's Hordes. It's the Grovel. Make the Grovel 0 cost. Hi Core, FTW, welcome. Armor 10, that disables my check strips as well as my unupgraded Entumbra Assault for the most part. And of course my Plinks. But I am interested in seeing another unit, especially another Gorge unit could be quite useful, and we do have the Shadow Eater to deal with waves pretty easily, honestly. Overcharged Apprentice might be a bit harder to take down. We could deal 20 to the entire wave and deal with that one later. I think we do want to be on the bottom floor here. Just to remove the backliners before we have to deal with anyone else. Damage shield on the Shadow Eater is completely pointless. Oh yeah. Alright, why did I think... Well, the check strips will get rid of these guys, so everything's fine. For some reason I thought we could have another morsel there, but that's certainly not the case. We probably can't kill that guy. We'll get up to 19 attack. Too bad we can't reform anything. The Blink doesn't help. The drag isn't useful either. I forgot about their incant trigger. I am hoping we can find the damage. Yeah, we actually... Alright, with the check strips that works out for us. I'm gonna kill my own Primordium now, so I can feed more this turn, and then on later turns I can reform Primordium, especially if I get the reform next turn. Is it even still in the deck? Yeah. I can... Well, it's burnout 1 now, so maybe that wasn't the greatest idea. Still good damage, and I can potentially get the Primordium back for the top floor. That might prevent it though. Yeah, I forgot that we would only have burnout 1 that way. That's my bad. Drag in the front doesn't really change much. In the back it's extra damage. Give me a molder, please. Thank you. That has to be Primordium, right? And we want Primordium in the front. Because it's tanky enough to take 2 hits, and then it will burn out anyways. I walked out. Took a little bit of damage to these frontliners, but that's fine. Perils of Production. Pack Morsels and Immortal Trade. If I pick Pack Morsels, I definitely need Capacity next. But it's not a bad choice. Perils of Production could also be interesting. But I don't think we are gonna move towards an Ever Drain build here. But even if not, Perils of Production can still help me do some powerful plays. Pack Morsels will only really be good after I get some capacity, but I do plan on doing that. I feel like this deck really wants something like Pack Morsels eventually. Another Molder, that's too much. I don't think I want Sacred Wicks. Random Reforms don't seem that great with the Drags in the deck. Let's get a Dripfall. Crucible Warden, that's my boss killer now. Very nice. Merchant of Steel, I do want to see that, but maybe with some more money. I could only go to one much later though. This is... Relics could be quite good with a deck like this. There are a variety of relics that would be formidable here. But I think I have to go for the Merchant of Steel, otherwise I won't get any. I won't get one anytime soon. And then we're gonna go to the left here, because we won't have a lot of gold. That makes the most sense here, I think. Endless. These are not terrible units, but they don't really fit my game plan. Eternal Stone is difficult to justify. Shadow Eater needs attack more than health. I don't mind having a little bit of extra health on the Crucible Warden, although it's not really necessary at all. Wickstone is pretty bad. I think I just reroll. Oh yeah. These are the upgrades I was looking for. Frenzy Stone and Strength Stone both are amazing. Do we put both of them on the Crucible Warden? I think so. I think the Crucible Warden is gonna be our designated boss and frontline killer. We do have the luxury of having a designated frontline and boss killer. Ooh. Abandoned Train. What do we want? We don't need Frostbite or Spell Weakness, really. It's not gonna be great in that deck. Armor and Rage are somewhat useful, but also not critical. Spikes could be nice. Regen is sadly not great, but Draw would also be pretty neat. We got Regen. Ooh, we get another one though. Hellhound next. Yeah, that's not gonna work. I guess it was 20 gold. Could have been worse. And onwards to Daedalus. I feel pretty confident with our ability to deal with Daedalus now. With the upgraded Crucible Warden, we should have everything we need for this fight. Shadow Eater on the bottom. We can put Primordium behind them there. Maybe we set up the other 2 floors with Gorge. Should be fine, right? This is okay. Definitely want to get down the Crucible Warden this turn. Is there a good target for Entumbra Assault? Yeah, this is... Let's blink first. Wow. I was blinking first to increase the chance of me getting a third morsel this turn. Even though there was a very small chance that I would kill both backliners, in that case I would have just Entumber assaulted my own Train Steward or one of the morsels I got. Depending on which morsels I would have gotten from that. No target for the Entumber assault on the enemy side. We could just go with pack morsels instead. Although this drag really doesn't serve any purpose right now, so... Feels good dealing with actual Gorge units instead of drags and Train Stewards. Especially drags are terrible Gorge targets. More damage shield on this guy can't ever be bad for us. If I get the chance to kill off Penumbra next turn, I will definitely do so. If I drop down the bomb, it will explode next turn, which honestly is not too bad, but it only prevents one damage shield from getting taken away. That doesn't matter all that much, but the bomb on this... Oh no, it dies because of the check strips, right. I figured the Gorge trigger would hit it, but I forgot about the check strips also hitting it. Anything? Yeah, there are Train Stewards to reform, I guess. Can put those in front. Probably should have played those drags instead. You know what? Drag on the top floor saves us a damage shield. That's actually pretty good. That's almost as good as a morsel giving us a damage shield. What a hand. Guess we won't be reforming Primordium this time around. Not that we really need to. Our morsel generation is pretty solid. Although we currently don't have a blink target. I'm gonna make a blink target. This guy will be left on 2 HP, so if we wanna blink someone, we can do that. I forgot about check strips. And now I actually killed them off. That was bad. And this guy's too tanky for the Entumber assault. 7 damage shields, we deal over 100 damage per turn. Yeah, we are fine. We don't need anything. And we can get even more. Okay. I mean, this guy is a pretty strong boss killer. And with multi-strike... not much that could go wrong. Oh. Furnace Tab, Wretch. These are powerful tools. Most of our key spells cost 1 or and can cost 0 pretty easily. So even though we skipped the perils of production, we could still go with Amber Drain and pick the Furnace Tab here. That would increase our damage output by quite a bit. Wretch would be a good card to get back Primordium, but we'll have so many morsels in that pool. Then we might overflood ourselves with morsels. I'm gonna go with the Furnace Tab. It's just such a strong card. We don't need more Gorge units. 2 are enough. 2 is a good number. An extra capacity is still tempting. But with our morsels getting split over 2 floors, I think draw is more important right now. We had a lot of turns where we weren't able to make use of the capacity we already had. I was gonna go to the left, but right side is also tempting. The dupe is really good though. But the extras Merchant of Magics really matter now that we have a Furnace Tap in the deck. We wanna make all 3 molded and both Entumbra Assault 0 cost. And if we can, even the Dripfall. So we would need to visit a lot of Merchants of Magic to get that done. Which we can do. We can visit 3 Merchant of Magics over the next 3 rings. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cost reductions. Maybe that's just what we do. Visit all the Merchant of Magics, buy all the cost reductions, get the power from Furnace Tap. I generally like the idea of that. But I also still want to go to the left here, dupe the Grovel, and cut some plinks. That's still pretty tempting. We can only cost reduce 4 cards that way, but we get another 0 cost in the deck by duping one. And we get some non-zero costs out of the deck. Yeah, I think that's slightly better still. Nope. Let's dupe the Grovel. That's one of the reasons why I made it 0 cost so early. Because it's a really good dupe target now. And then we don't have space for that many Train Stewards. So I'm gonna remove one of each. Aggressive Edible is here now. I think that's the way we wanna go. Yeah, definitely. That's really, really good. Enemy units enter with Spell Shield. Makes the Entumbra Assaults much harder to hit. But I think we're fine. This boss is pretty weak to damage shield. Like, we won't have much trouble dealing with them. I think we set this up on the top floor. So our Crucible Warden can start to grow. There's you, so you don't get any stupid ideas of putting Scorchers in my deck, because I don't like that. I could kill off this guy now. But I guess I can deal with one Scourge now to prevent having more Scourges added to my deck later by the units that spawn on the bottom floor. This is a good turn to play Packed Morsels. Lifesteal doesn't help our top floor very much, so instead I'm gonna go with this morsel distribution. Nothing to reform. Might as well plink to get rid of the spell shield, so we can hit with the plink or Entumbra Assault on that guy. Definitely want those juicy morsels. And while we can get them from the enemies, we definitely should do so. This kills the Absolver, and a bit of extra health on the top floor can't be bad either. And I think we're pretty much done here. I think we are... yeah, we're so much done with this fight that we can just go ahead and Ember Drain our Ember away. Block for a damage shield. Ooh, this is nice. Yeah, I forgot there would be Absolver spawning with this boss. Luckily we did get a grovel to remove those. So we don't have to deal with Scorches while Ember drained, otherwise I could have gone... we could have taken some damage here. I was about to say they could have gone badly, but not really. It's not like taking a few points of damage would ruin us at this point, but it's always nice not to take them. Grovel, Prism Retrieval, Blazing Bolts. This is a hard skip for me. I would be interested in Blazing Bolts to some degree if my deck was a bit worse than it currently is. But we are really strong right now, and my focus at the moment is on cost removing stuff. Left side is again pretty tempting, but now we have so much gold, we can get a lot of mileage out of it, I think. And Tumbra Assault is our priority to cost reduce. These need to be playable. They are critical to our strategy. There's not much wrong with double stacking a Furnace Tap. Locks us out for the rest of the fight, but it's worth it. It's definitely worth it. Do we hoard gold? To some degree, but I think one removal should be made here. These blinks are pretty abysmal. Numbers enemy units enter with spikes 4. Plus there's a sweeper around. And the boss has sweep, but that doesn't matter as much. The sweeper just means we will have more trouble feeding our morsels. It also means Primordium will eventually get killed. So we need to be able to reform them. But still I think our Crucible Warden will have things under control pretty easily. Double backline? No. Would have been nice. Oh yeah, give me more damage shields right from the get-go. I don't want you to get too many slate triggers, but I do want these morsels dead, so we can reform them. That doesn't matter enough. I'm gonna split those. Yeah. Wait. No, I did put one on the top floor. I was confused for a second there. We need a damage shield on you, right? Or do we just let you get killed off? I mean, you die anyways, so the damage shield doesn't make a difference. No, you don't. Right. The Crucible one kills the Master of Light. That's the question, do I want Primordium dead right now? I mean, we have 2 more Moldeds left in the deck. I think I am okay with Primordium dying. These Magma Morsels are a bit unwieldy at the moment. No, we'll be strong enough just by normal use of Primordium. We need a non-magma morsel on the bottom floor. Honestly, this guy's damage doesn't even matter. He can get as many rage triggers as he wants. He's gonna hit 2 damage shields anyways. So I'm just gonna get rid of some of my units to make space. Sure, this is nice. I'm just gonna grovel the magma morsel here. It didn't even help because the Master of Light is gonna sweep it. Whoops, my bad. But luckily we found an Antumbra morsel with enough health to survive the Master. Primordium will die to this Master of Light, which is ideal because that means they'll die with just one stack of buffet remaining. It's pretty much exactly what we want. Although, at this point I would prefer... No, things are fine. It's okay if it dies. In this fight, I really feel like we don't wanna... Ember Drain at the moment, because we gain much more benefit out of reforming Penumbra. Is that true? Not even sure, honestly. That guy's in my way. Welcome back, Primordium. Do we want you to be on the bottom floor? No. Top floor is better. For some reason I thought I could double Antumbra Assault that. Is there another... There is another Molden in the deck. Actually our deck has become really small. That's nice. We need more damage shields. These monsters are not... Oh no, they will actually get dazed. Never mind. Let's reform. There's actually nothing here to really reform. These monsters will still die to one hit from the boss. But at least he will waste more lifesteal charges that way. Primordium getting pretty strong. You already have lifesteal, that will be enough to heal you to full. And then we throw on some multi-strike for good measure. Ooh, combustible wax. That means when we reform Primordium, they will be ready with 4 stacks of burnout, which is still lower than their buffet, but we'll get a lot of mileage out of them. Nice. I like the idea of that. Void Binding. I mean, we're already moving in the direction of Ember Drain, so might as well include Void Binding in our deck as well. I don't think we want Sacred Wicks, and we definitely don't want an expensive card here. This time we get free removals on top of spell upgrades. I do like the idea of that. The holdover should definitely be on Void Binding, right? Yeah, no question there. That means Void Binding is also the card we want to cost reduce right away. We don't need to upgrade these Plinks, right? We're not gonna play them anyways. Don't want the cost increase there. It's time to upgrade some Moldats. And then we remove some cards. These Train Stewards are actually somewhat annoying to play. So we keep steadily reducing their numbers. But we can still get them out in most fights, one way or another. This fight is one of the most scary ones for a deck that includes Ember Drain. But this deck is not really relying on Ember Drain alone, so I think we should be fine. My main problem right now is that we don't have the Shadow Eater already. And the bottom floor is capacity reduced, which is also very awkward. Two options here. Primordium on the top, feeding the Crucible Warden, making them quite powerful. And then Shadow Eater on the second floor, or maybe even on the bottom floor. Yeah, I like the idea of Shadow Eater being on the bottom floor there. We don't have a whole lot of morsel capacity that way, but that's fine. These tracks actually stay alive for quite a while now, which is not always a positive thing. Why did I immediately start playing Void Binding against this boss? We only have 2 Ember Drain right now. I can let that run out. But I think I have to. I can't keep playing this. Otherwise, I'll get demolished by the Scorchers. These are all eaten. I guess we kinda took some damage to our pyre to get better scaling. I guess that's a fair thing to do here. Ah, no food for the Shadow Eater. I need to think about putting some of these morsels into our reform pool. Feel like I messed up this fight quite badly. And took a lot of unnecessary damage. But we'll still be fine. Because we are very strong. Waves remaining 2. There will be one final large Scorch we have to deal with. Yeah, this one. That's the last one though. Now we can freely use Void Binding to our heart's desire. And let me tell you, my heart desires this Void Binding very much. Final wave. Let's use Pack Morsel so we have a target for Entumbra Assault. This one is great. That's not bad. I guess that's the most damage we're ever gonna get out of this Shadow Eater. That's not true, because of the multi-strike. We won't even have an attack. So we need to put the morsel in front. what's available for reform? Well, with 24 damage shield, there's nothing we have to worry about in this fight. Nice! Took a lot of unnecessary damage, but in the end it's still just 14 health lost. Sacrificial Resurrection to remove some trash out of my deck. That wouldn't be bad. But I think... How many cards? Let me think about this. We're probably gonna go for the Merchant of Trinkets next. And then for the Merchant of Magic as our final choice. So we won't get any more free removals, but we'll probably be able to afford one or two. Actually the Sacrificial Resurrection isn't that important then. I'd rather skip it here. We want the extra capacity now. We already have the draw we need. We didn't find any way to increase our capacity with cards. So it's gotta be relics then. Sketches, Commemorative Spike, and Refined Void. Commemorative Spike isn't bad. It's definitely not Sketches. That's just awful here. Refined Void, I don't think we need that. Commemorative Spike is okay, but it's not really exciting. I'm gonna reroll. Mask of Penumbra, Chain of Gems. Both of these are pretty reasonable. We're up against Seraph the Temperant, so we have to deal with Dazes and Shadewings. I think that won't be a huge problem. Mask of Penumbra is generally pretty powerful in a deck that makes such good use of morsels. So yeah, that's the path we take. An aggressive edible, if we really need... that's actually a pretty tough trial. I should have thought about this a bit more, but I think we'll be okay. Set up on the top floor, that's for sure. Start generating... Actually, the top floor is capacity reduced. It might... No, it's still the top floor. Gives us the most time to get ready before the Pyre Wings hit. These Pyre Wings will be pretty scary. Yeah, I guess Shadow Eater on the bottom. Not sure if I even want that Shadow Eater to live for very long. I think I... no. Primordium dying with three stacks of buffet remaining is actually not terrible at all. Let's just get rid of you. There is a morsel to reform. Yeah, that's definitely better than Plink at the very least. Softening up this Gilded Wing for us. Shadow Eater will cause me to get Ember Drained. And I have the 3 molded in my hand right now. But our deck is gonna get smaller pretty quickly, so... Don't need to save Primordium, but I could. Could save them until this Pyre Wings comes up. That means I will have to deal with more Ember Drain next turn, which doesn't matter if I play Void Binding. Guess that's our plan then. We wait for the next Ember Wing to get the kill on Primordium. We can't use any of these morsels, they will just die. At least not on the top floor. Or the bottom. Because of the sweep. Let's get these guys out of the deck as well. Yeah, now we're in Ember Drain Hell. Which might cause us to miss the kill on this Pyre Wings. No, I think we'll be alright. That guy doesn't matter anymore. The Light Wings die. Oh god. This wave is just painful. Having the Molten in this hand means I kinda have to kill off Primordium this turn, because I won't have the chance to reform them next turn. Reform, replay, protect. And this gives us exactly the necessary power to deal with the backliner here. Can't use morsels on this floor because of the sweep. I wish there was a way to weaken that wave, but that's gonna be tough. And we can't ever play... Can't ever play... the multi-strike generating card. I don't want pack morsels in my deck. Let's get them out of here. Yeah, can't play Furnace Tap at all. This Pyre Wings will hit my Pyre. Maybe we can, with another Entumbra Assault, we can get them down to only hitting us 3 times for 36 damage total. Instead, we can do it with Penumbra, that works too. Ouch. But if that's the only damage we take this fight, then I'm totally okay with that. Yeah, 36 damage taken, but we're still healthy. And the only thing that really matters is how we deal with Seraph. I'll take a Feast. This deck has enough morsel generation for it to be relevant. Don't want Voltivery. Although it would be a pretty reliable target for the Entumbra Assaults, I guess. Cost reductions are definitely necessary. Morsel units end up with damage shield. That would have been great earlier, but we don't have to fight against sweep or spikes in the Seraph fight. No sweep in the Temperant fight. Winged technology could still have some use, but we can't really rely on jump blocking with morsels in that fight, and I don't think we want resin block, although that would make Primordium grow quicker, but that's not really that important. Fossilized Fangs, however, that's powerful. The remaining cost reductions go on a Molded and I think on the Dripfall actually. We don't need these cards. Upgrades, I mean. Holdover. Holdover Feast. Is that anything we want? I think so. Holdover Feast could be great. Dripfall just for the dazed, well, mostly for the dazed. That's actually not bad. Because there are 5 health enemies, and we can kill them with a single Dripfall, because they will die to check strips, eventually. I don't expect we'll be able to keep the Shadow Eater alive until the very end, so having a backup plan with a Dripfall would be okay. And we don't need all 3 molders to be cost reduced. We can just have one that's kinda useless, right? I'm also gonna put consume on one of these blinks. That's the first consume upgrade I've seen, I think. Definitely purge the other blink. We can't afford any relics at this point, right? Yep. Definitely purge the other blink. And that's it. The only thing left to do is dupe a card. And that will be a grovel, right? No. It will be a void binding. How much better is void binding really than a grovel? Grovel is with the holdover feast. Wait, we didn't hold over the feast. We can still hold over the feast. Yeah, I want to do that. With the holdover feast, the grovel is a lot of damage shield, but not that much damage. Honestly, I think the grovel is better. With the holdover feast, I think it's just stronger. We need the extra damage shields because sometimes enemy backliners will hit us. And these are the nasty backliners, the Shade Wings. They are very scary. There's no other floor to set up on than this one. We need damage first. This one will be our second unit, and might as well not play the Dripfall because it doesn't have any effect. Shadow Eater here. Nice hit. That allows me to use the Entumbra Assault on the top floor. Let's get the units out of the deck. And not like the lifesteal matters with just 2 attack. It's better to gain more attack here. I'm gonna use the lifesteal here. And just for the energy. Next time I get the chance to kill Primordium, I should definitely think about doing that. Jewel on the top floor, that's for sure. Is there another Entumbra Assault left in the deck? There's not. But still. Feast on the top floor is very solid right now. I just can't play next. No! Wait! That doesn't... That's not... well, we might still draw into it. And this one just to block for a damage shield. Yeah, maybe I shouldn't have played the feast on the top floor. Because now I can't reform Primordium at all. There's still a small chance. Nope. Guess that's fine then. Are there any mortars? Nope. Yeah, I could have had a lot more power if I didn't play the feast there. I do want to kill these backliners. But we can't. No, we can. There we go. I was like, that didn't work out, but then it turns out it did. Yeah, that was a stupid mistake. Losing Primordium there. Well, we are fine. I think now with the Multi-Strike 4 we can just put all our efforts into growing this one. Because nothing is ever getting past that guy. I should actually be Antambra assaulting my own morsels. Because I can reform them and still use them. Wait, does that make sense? I don't know. Do we need the feast? I think so. There's a pretty high chance that we get more than 4 morsels in a turn. Oh, 5 units in a single wave. That means even Multi-Strike 4 is not gonna kill them all. And the one that's the healthiest is all the way in the back. And never mind. No problem whatsoever. Sure, let's bring the Shadow Ether back, why not? Dropping that guy down means he dies to check strips. And we can kill this guy. And the Shadow Eater as well. For more morsels. 82 damage shields right now. How much damage shield will we have at the end of this? $97, $99 damage shield with this morsel. That only gives us 33 free turns of combat against this Seraph, but we also had like tons of damage, like 800 damage a turn. So yeah, we didn't need that many rounds of combat at all. Nice. Gives us another win with Primordium in the books. Keeping our win streak alive, and yeah. $22 now. In theory, we were meant to kill off Primordium with an Antambra Assault and reform it with the Molded over and over again to increase its stats and, you know, all the nice stuff, feeding on it more than 5 times and making our Crucible Warden insanely strong. But we skipped all those steps and just made our Crucible Warden sufficiently strong. Well, theory and reality, right? Status Primordium would have been pretty good, yes. With the Void Bindings and the Furnace Tap. And the Grovels as well. But this run could have been insane in a variety of different ways. So, yeah. Anyways. Not on top floor though. I mean, you have 2 turns of days, but most enemies won't be there in 2 turns anyway, so that doesn't matter, right? And even if you reform him, you will only have dazed 1 on him. The dazed 1, it will get eaten. The frontliner will get dazed 1 after combat, and that will immediately run out. Or it will run out on Primordium before it gets eaten, and then it gets eaten and doesn't have any days to carry over. So that's never a problem. Not with reforming Primordium, and only if there are actually hasters on the top floor. Or I guess for the Collector, but usually Primordium is strong enough to kill the Collector.